take a moment to welcome everyone to this episode of the Teamwrkr Workshop series, and a special welcome to our presenter, Jasz Joseph, who is here to talk about the power of a full funnel marketing plan. And Jasz has been a member of our community now for a little while in Slack, and has a whole bunch of stuff to tell you today about what she's up to. And I'm going to just, without further ado, hand it over to Jasz. Welcome, Jasz.
Great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Kayla, Amanda, I am super casual, as Phil and Kristen already know. So as you have questions, feel free to yell them out, pop them in the chat. Would love to know what you guys do. If you want to just pop in the chat, what type of freelancers you are, all that good stuff. And since we have a nice small group today, we can kind of tailor the presentation to whatever you guys need. Awesome. So wanted to kick off by introducing myself. So like Phil said, my name is Jasz. I spent my whole career working for marketing agencies, mostly big HubSpot agencies, Diamond, Platinum partners, if you're familiar with that ecosystem. Started my own agency about 1.5 years ago in January of 21. And through all of that, quickly realized that the old saying, the shoemaker's kids never have shoes, holds true. So as freelancers, consultants, agency owners, we are so busy building our clients' businesses that we often don't have the time, the focus, or the energy to work on our own sales and marketing activities. We all know it's important, but it just gets pushed to the back burner. So that's why I started my agency. We specifically focus on helping boutique agencies and consultants develop those systems and growth strategies to help them start generating sales-ready leads and get rid of that overwhelm that comes from not knowing where your next sale is coming from. I have 2 businesses. So my core business is my consulting that I do for established agency owners. That business is called Jazzray Digital. And then I also run a network for agency builders and freelancers who are working to grow their businesses. That's called Let's Work Network. And our Q3 enrollment doors open today. So if anybody's interested in learning more about that, would be happy to chat. So wanted to give a little overview of what we're going to touch on today. We have tons to go over. I'm very excited about it. So we're going to talk about what is full funnel marketing, how you can start building your funnel strategy. So I really want everybody to be able to walk away today with kind of a set idea in their head of what this looks like for their business. And then as you're working through that, if you guys want to ping me on Slack or chat through anything, I'm happy to talk. What tools you can use to automate your funnel. So once you've built it out, how do you kind of set it on autopilot and make sure it's doing that work for you? So before I start talking about the funnel, I always like to take a step back and just overarchingly talk about sales and sales strategy, because at the end of the day, your marketing and your funnel all feeds into that end goal of producing sales. So people too often think that sales is just coming up to somebody and saying, hey, I have this amazing product. Do you want to buy it? And somebody says oh my gosh, that is an amazing product. Yes, let me sign up. And I think we all are far along enough in our business journey to know that that's not quite how this process works, right? It looks a little bit more like, hey, I'd love to connect with you and learn about your business. Absolutely. I do XYZ. That sounds amazing. I'd love to support you. And then they're like, meh, I don't really know. Not right now. I just met you. So then maybe you check in. You're like, hey, I understand. Wanted to offer you a free resource. And they say, thanks. I'll check it out later when I have more time. Then you reach out again and you say, I was thinking about you, wanted to invite you to this event next week. And they say, thanks, I think I'll join you. You reach out again and say, it was so great seeing you at the event. Thanks for coming. They say, thanks for inviting me. And you say, you're welcome. Join us again anytime. And then they start to say, actually, I'd love to chat with you about working in a larger way. And that's where that traditional sales process starts. So what I'm talking about today is everything leading up, all of those touch points that people need in order to build trust with you and see you as an expert. Any questions, comments before we dive into the next piece? Beautiful. All right. So I also like to talk about some mindset shifts that are very important before you start building out your funnel. As you'll start to see as I dive more into the funnel strategy, building your funnel requires a lot of like putting yourself out there, a lot of meeting new people. It requires positioning yourself as an expert. And a lot of times as business owners, that's not something that we're super comfortable with. So I always like to kick off my presentation with some of these like mindset shifts, maybe sales mantras, if you're into that like woo-woo stuff a little bit. So one is I am not a fit for everyone. You know, we all have heard the saying, the riches is in the niches, however, you know, you say it, but it's very, very true, right? You can't speak to everyone. If you're attempting to speak to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So it's very important before you go into your funnel strategy to really think about who exactly am I trying to attract? What do they look like? What are their pain points? All of that good stuff. I'm here to make friends and connections, not immediate sales. So in that example I shared, you saw it took a lot of touch points to get that person to the point where they were willing to have a sales conversation. I know that, you know, anybody who's on LinkedIn, right? You get like 3 messages a day, 3+ messages a day from random people that say like, hey, I'd love to sell you something. And nobody responds to those. Nobody's interested in those. But when you have people that genuinely want to be your friend, want to connect with you, people that are in the same space, those are the type of relationships that are going to produce long-term and better sales for you because those people you've built trust with. Finding amazing clients is a long game and they're worth the wait. One thing that we'll talk about today is, again, like the funnel is a long game. We're going to automate it so it's not going to feel as long for you. But at the end of the day, sales doesn't happen super quickly. And the last piece is I am an expert guide. So much of what we're going to need to do as we build our funnel strategy is position ourselves as an expert and position ourselves as the go-to resource for whatever it is you offer in your business. And so you have to think of yourself that way. You have to build that confidence to be able to speak confidently about whatever you're offering and really have those impactful conversations with people who need your services. Great. So now let's dive into the funnel. So we have top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. At the top of the funnel is people who have just met you. They've never heard about you. They have no idea what you do. Then the bottom of the funnel is people who are ready for sales. And the middle is that nurturing piece. And that's how you get people from the first touch point when you first meet them all the way to being sales ready. So you'll see this is kind of like something that people flow through. So at the top of the funnel, our target audience is looking for information. So they're not ready to purchase. They're looking for information. And honestly, they're not even quite ready to pay for that information yet. They may download a free resource from us, but really they're just information gathering. At the middle of the funnel, they at this point are aware and they're thinking about purchasing. Maybe they're vetting you and a few other options. Maybe they're taking a look at their bank account to see if they have the budget to hire you. Maybe they're talking to their higher ups if it's a larger corporation. So at this point, they may attend a free event because they want to meet you. They want to get some face time and learn more. Or they may purchase a lower cost, what I like to call a taste test. And this is where some of that passive income comes in. So if you've ever thought about creating a course or templates or things like that you can sell for a lower price point than your one-on-one consulting services or freelance services, this is a great place to test that out with people who know you, but maybe aren't quite ready to purchase your highest ticket item. And then, of course, bottom of the funnel is our audience fully trusts us and understands the value in purchasing our highest ticket offering. They're ready to go. They're like, where do I sign? Great. So as we talk about the top of the funnel, we have to think about what we can offer to these people. So as we meet somebody, it's the first time we're meeting them. They're not familiar with us. Here are some examples of things that we could offer them. Again, these are all totally free resources. with the goal of collecting their contact information so that we can further keep in touch with them and nurture them down the funnel. So these are things that would live behind a form on your website, so that in order for somebody to download this or get this from you, they would have to give you their email address, their name, whatever other information would be helpful for you in your sales process. So here we have a checklist, a guide, a mini course, a pre-recorded webinar. One unique one that I really like is a week-long email challenge. So they sign up to get one email a week from you, and each one has a challenge. So if you're a sales consultant, maybe it's like 5 days to a full pipeline. If you're a copywriter, maybe it's like 5 days of content ideas for you. And so they get enrolled in your emails. And then templates is another great one. I know like bookkeepers use this a lot. Anybody could use this, like a buyer persona template if you're doing like content strategy. There's a million and two ideas. In the middle of the funnel, our target audience, again, they're thinking about purchasing. They may want to meet you. They may purchase something that's a lower cost than your highest ticket item. So at the middle of the funnel, I like to offer something like a lunch and learn. Lunch and learns are really great because it gets your prospects or your potential clients some face time with you. So they see you, they kind of get a taste of what it would be like to work with you, but you're in a group setting. So they're not getting that one-on-one piece, but you're positioning yourself as an expert and they're seeing you, they're kind of understanding what it would be like to maybe be on a Zoom call with you or be in person at a conference table with you. An industry networking event, same idea. They get to meet other people in their field. They also get to meet you. They get to chit chat, kind of a win-win. Low cost templates. So this is where, you could use templates for free as top of the funnel, or if they're more of a high value template, you could sell them in the middle of the funnel, again, for some of that passive income. Same idea with the pre-recorded courses. I worked with a business coach at the end of last year, and she had an amazing funnel strategy. I wanted to work with her. She had been on my radar forever, but she was very expensive. And I was like, oh, I just don't know if I want to invest in working with her one-on-one. So I purchased her course. It was $100. I was like, meh, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to purchase her course. I took her course. That was a form of passive income. I shouldn't say I took her course. I took like 15 minutes of her course. And then I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I need to hire this woman to implement this for me. Like, there's no way I can implement it by myself. So there's something to be said for that too. I feel like oftentimes as we're working on passive income, we're working on the middle of the funnel, we get afraid to tell all of our secrets to somebody. And we don't want to put everything out there. That's our secret sauce. But the truth of the matter is, nobody is an expert like you are, and nobody does what you do quite the way that you do it. And so even if you give your clients like all of the tools, the chances of them actually being able to execute on it are very slim. And the good news is, if they do execute on it, then that's a huge win for you, because hopefully they will refer their friends, and then their friends will need things and they'll be like, oh, I took this amazing course from this person. Like, you should also take the course, or you should hire them. So they become a nice referral partner for you. Another thing I really like using at the middle of the funnel is 1 hour of consulting, or 1 hour of whatever you offer, like a little workshop or something like that. Again, they pay a small price for this, but it's not the same as a larger engagement with you. And then, of course, the bottom of the funnel. So at this point, somebody has moved all the way through. They've downloaded some free stuff from us. They've entered into our network, and maybe they purchased something low cost. Maybe they attended an event to meet you, and they're ready. They're ready to buy your highest ticket item. So you probably already know what your highest ticket item is. At this point, it could be a retainer, it could be your high ticket course or a workshop that you offer, social media management, maybe it's a group that you run, maybe you're developing websites. You, generally speaking, know what your bottom of the funnel offer is. So I won't spend too much time here. So now that we've talked about what is at each stage of that funnel, I want to talk about tools for managing your funnel. So one of my favorite tools is a CRM. So if you don't have a CRM or you're not familiar with CRMs, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management System. However, I like to use it for everybody, not just my customers. So every single person that I'm talking to, whether we connect on LinkedIn, whether they download one of my top of the funnel offers, whether we get connected via email, whatever it is, I'm putting them in my CRM, and the CRM helps me track all of my contacts and remember where I met them, when I last spoke to them, what's going on with them. I really love the free HubSpot CRM. If you're using that, you can integrate it with your email campaigns and your website. So you can see when these people are visiting your website, when they're opening your emails, all of that good stuff. So it really gives you a lot of data to come into the sales process very knowledgeable. You can look and you can say, this person visited my website 10 times this week. They're super interested, or they keep looking at my page on sales copywriting. They must be really, really interested in sales copywriting. Like, I'm going to enter into this conversation and talk with them specifically about that. So the CRM is a really great tool to arm you as you're going into your sales conversations. Social media scheduling tools. We'll talk about social media in a little bit, but social media is a great place for top and middle of the funnel. I make a lot of new connections on LinkedIn, just chatting with people, mutual friends, things of that nature. I know a lot of people use Instagram for their business as well, and they have new leads flowing in through Instagram. So using social media scheduling tools helps you set a lot of that on autopilot so that you can just schedule your posts. You can batch them for the whole month, make sure that they're going out, and you don't have to think about it every single day. Like, oh, did I post? What should I write about today? All of that. Email marketing tools, same idea. After somebody has converted at the top of the funnel, I really like to use email as a tool to continue to nurture them. And I'll talk about my funnel in a few slides, but I love using email drip campaigns, email newsletters, things of that nature to stay top of mind, to stay in people's inboxes, position myself as that thought leader. If you are doing lunch and learns or networking events or things like that, I really love using Eventbrite. It's great if it integrates with your CRM. So everybody who signs up for those events automatically gets put into your CRM. And then they start getting your emails, you start getting data on them, all that good stuff. A website builder with forms. Like I said, we want to make sure those top of the funnel pieces are hidden behind a form, so that we get people's contact information as they download it. So website builder with forms is also very important. Great. So as we talk about all of these tools playing into the funnel, I want to talk about it at each stage. So at the top of the funnel, we're really looking to attract prospects. So at this stage, social media is really great. Like I said, I get a lot of prospects from LinkedIn. A lot of my clients also use Instagram for their networking strategies. Just plain old-fashioned networking, going to in-person events, going to virtual events is another great way to find these people at the top of the funnel. SEO is a good strategy, especially if you have a very niche product. Optimizing your website so that people are coming to your website regularly is a great way to drive top of the funnel leads. And then, of course, thought leadership. So posting blog posts, LinkedIn thought leadership, whatever makes sense for your industry. But writing content, creating video content, whatever makes sense for you, but just being that expert, putting yourself out there and bringing people into your funnel. Then once we have people in the funnel, we need to nurture them. So get them from the top to the bottom. My personal favorite way to do this is via email marketing. I love a weekly newsletter. I love just an automated campaign, depending on how long your sales cycle is. Finding what makes sense for your business is really great. But if you can stay in these people's inbox and be delivering them really good information over time, You stay top of mind whenever they have a need. You're the first person that they think about. And again, you're just continuing to position yourself as that expert in the space. LinkedIn and Instagram is another great one. If your prospects are on social media a lot, it's important for you to be showing up there and for you to be reminding them of what you're doing, how you're helping, the services that you offer, and just being a resource. Again, like I said on my page about sales mantras, it's important to be building those connections and friendships first. So not being too salesy, but staying top of mind and reminding people of what you're doing and what you're working on. And then at the bottom of the funnel, the most important piece here is having strong calls to action across all platforms. I think we can all relate to this, right? Like there are some people that you follow, maybe on Instagram, maybe on LinkedIn, and you think their content is just absolutely amazing, but you have no idea like what they actually do for a living. And so it's very important to make sure that you have strong calls to action. So while you're providing all of this amazing free resources and thought leadership and information, make sure you're also reminding people of what you do and exactly how they can work with you, or exactly what that next stage of the funnel is, whether it's purchasing something from you from a passive income stream, whether it's working with you one-on-one. Make sure that you're calling that out as often as possible. So I wanted to give you guys a glimpse into my consulting funnel to give you an idea of what this looks like in real life. And then I also have an example for one of my clients that has a slightly different business model. So like I said, I am a sales and marketing consultant. I work primarily with boutique agency owners. So this is what my funnel looks like. At the top of the funnel, I'm doing a lot of LinkedIn outreach. Again, this is not the salesy outreach that we all hate. This is like genuinely making connections, being like, hey, I loved your comment on that post. Like, would love to learn more about your business. Let's chat. This is not me at all talking about like my services, trying to book a discovery call. Like, no. This is top of the funnel outreach. And then I do things like this. I speak, I run networking events, I attend networking events. And so I meet people and position myself as a thought leader in that way as well. Then once I have these people in my funnel, I send out a weekly newsletter. So basically everybody I've ever met in business sense gets my weekly newsletter. They're in my CRM. And again, this is my way of staying top of mind. This is my way of reminding people like, hey, I'm a thought leader. Here's what I've been working on. Here's what I've been thinking about. I post on LinkedIn as well, because I know that my target audience spends a lot of time there. And then I run a monthly event for agency owners. It's my mastermind event. And that's a great way for people to get FaceTime with me, to meet other people in my network, in my community, and get some of those trust symbols. And then as far as conversion goes, I have an apply to work with me via my website form. I put that in a lot of my emails on LinkedIn, so people know if they want to work with me, they can apply via my website. Another example from one of my clients. So my client runs a marketing agency and they specialize in real estate marketing. And I call that out because I love that she has a very, very specific niche. She works specifically with realtors, and she actually gets even more specific to tell me that she works with two different kinds of realtors. She works with a younger realtor that's pretty tech savvy and wants to DIY their marketing. And then she works with an older realtor that has no idea how social media works and wants her to handle everything. So at the top of the funnel, we run Instagram ads for her. We know that realtors, for the most part, are not spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. They are spending, especially that younger group, a lot of time on Instagram. So we run an Instagram ad with a free download to get them into our pipeline. So it's how to put your marketing on autopilot for realtors, or 10 tools that realtors should have. And then we're posting organically on her social channels as well. In that middle of the funnel, she hosts a monthly roundtable event where all realtors can come together, talk about challenges. One important thing that I like to call out when I talk about her roundtable event that just further proves that she strongly knows her target audience is that we have a very strong system in place for the monthly roundtable event that only allows one realtor per location to come to that event, because we know that realtors are super, super competitive. And we know that realtors do not want to be in a room with people that are also selling in their market. They don't want to be talking about their challenges with them. They don't want to be chit-chatting with them. Like it's a little cutthroat, to be totally honest. And so that was something that she had to know about her prospects. And then she put that in place to say, once we have a Pittsburgh realtor, we're not accepting any other Pittsburgh realtors for this roundtable. Once we have a Cleveland realtor, we're not accepting any more, so that those people can come and they can get the most out of it. They don't have to have their guard up. They can share challenges and they can network amongst each other. She also sells $5 Canva templates. This is kind of similar to that story I was sharing about my business coach. These Canva templates are something that people will buy because they think that they want to DIY their marketing. And then when they have 100 Canva templates dropped on their plate, they're like, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do with these. Like, I need to hire my client to handle all of this for me. So it's like a nice passive income generator for her, but also it's a nice client generator for her. And then she sends a weekly email as well to stay top of mind. And then at the bottom of the funnel, she actually rarely does a traditional like marketing retainer anymore. She has a full course that's available for purchase. And then she also has a group coaching program that she enrolls people in. So those are her offerings that we're regularly promoting for her. So as you can see, a little bit of a different business model. So I wanted to give you a glimpse into each of those funnels and what they looked like. So that is everything that I prepared for you guys today. I know that was a ton of information. I put my email here. So if you have any questions, if you're working on your funnel and you want to chat through something, bounce ideas around, like please reach out, let me know. I'm here to help. Otherwise, if anybody has any questions on the call today, I'd be happy to chat.
Thanks, Jazz. That's incredible. And I'm absorbing a bunch of the material still, which is great. Does anyone have any questions now? I've got a couple of questions, but I want to open it to the floor before I jump in. Anyone at all? I can kick it off. One of the things that I was thinking about, especially with people are at different levels of their business. Maybe they're just starting out in freelancing. Maybe they're more done it for a little while and getting traction. Some are more experienced. Is there any sort of level of tailoring what you're doing based upon that? Just thinking through, for our community especially, for example, if I was just coming into freelancing and this is my first month doing it, we have some people who, I think maybe Kayla started a business more recently. Are there any different tweaking or changing there along the way? Maybe you can speak to that.
Absolutely. So I would say for people just starting out, pick one middle of the funnel thing that you're going to offer and maybe a top of the funnel, but honestly, you don't necessarily need a top of the funnel actual like resource. If you're just starting out, I would just focus on making those connections at the top of the funnel. So you are the resource, just reaching out, meeting people, going to networking events, being active on social media. So meeting those people and then have one middle of the funnel thing. Maybe it's an event, maybe it's your downloadable, it's a template, it's a guide, whatever, but just have one thing that you can offer people. And then again, use yourself to further people down the funnel. Continue having those conversations, continue your outreach. So I would say when you're first starting out, you don't need a million things, right? Like as you grow, you can start testing different offers and running different promotions and automating everything. But as you're starting out, so much of this is just a mindset shift of instead of coming to somebody and saying, hey, do you want to buy from me? It's nurturing people and being that thought leader and being able to say like, hey, like I genuinely just want to connect with you. Here's a free resource that I can offer you. Like, let me know if you need anything else. So a lot of it's just a mindset shift at the beginning.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. I've got a couple other questions. Anybody else right now in the chat or anything? I'm sorry, I'm on my iPad here and I'm like flipping back and forth to chat on that. Kristen, anything there?
Phil, you go first. I'll ask my question afterwards.
Okay, yeah, now I'm going to move to sort of middle of the funnel stuff,
Yeah.
Jess. And these sort of, I was intrigued by your client who has a Canva giveaway and for $5. Man, it seems like a pretty trivial amount of money to spend. But I do, coming from a sales background, I appreciate when someone buys anything, even if it's for $1. I mean, even today, people coming today, you're donating your time, so to speak. You're taking time out of your schedule to do something, so hopefully it's valuable. But when someone does any level of purchase, it's great. But what about can you provide any more advice in that area? I get templates. I don't want to feel like I'm overwhelming my prospect, if you will, people in the middle of my funnel there either. So if they get 1,000 things from me, it's often a turnoff. Any way to gauge that as you've gone through this with your other clients, like how much is the right amount? Because I've been dripping on someone with an email and then they download, and they get 100 Canva templates. They're like, okay, Phil, enough. I don't want to overwhelm them. I want them to organically learn about me to the point where they say, yes, I love your first few slides. Like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do want to work with you. Like, it's like suddenly a thing. Like, yeah, this is great. So any advice sort of middle of the funnel about how much is the right amount to give away or to stay in touch, things like that?
Definitely. So I would say it depends a lot on your sales cycle. So for my clients that have a lower cost offering, oftentimes they can get away with a couple emails, maybe like they do a drip campaign that runs for a week or two, and then somebody's ready to purchase. With my consulting engagements, like people are spending thousands and thousands of dollars with me. So it's a longer sales cycle. So that's why I use a newsletter. I send out a weekly newsletter and it goes to everybody. It goes out to my referral partners, so people that send me business. It goes out to my current customers to just be like, hey, reminder, like I'm still great. Like you should send more people my way. It goes out to my prospects to be like, hey, like I'm still around, still accepting new clients. So that's like my way that I do it, which I feel like it saves me a lot of headache. So instead of trying to segment and figure out like what makes sense for this person, what makes sense for this person, like everybody gets just kind of a generic email from me being like, hey, here's what's new. Here's a thought I had about marketing. Here's an event I'm speaking at this week, like here, whatever makes sense for your audience. But that's how I'm running it is I do like a weekly email cadence. Some people will tell you that that's too much. I would say bi-weekly works, every other week also works. I would not recommend monthly. Unfortunately, like I just feel like we live in a world where you have to stay top of mind. Like people are getting so many different messages from everywhere. People are on social media, people are getting a million emails. Like I really feel like weekly is the key to success with those.
I've got
Go ahead, Kristen.
sorry, Phil. Yeah, no, I had a question. Mine's a little more specific. I mean, one, thanks so much for running this down and also giving us examples as to like what it looks like for you, what it looks like for your client, because I think that's super cool. And we've got a whole range of freelancers and consultants in our group who are people who are copywriters, people who are illustrators, people who are who are marketing machines, right? So it's all going to look different because their audience is different. Something I was curious about and that I've been like working through myself is when you're in that like middle funnel. One of the things you mentioned was you can give like a lower cost taste test. I think something, especially for myself where I'm just starting out, it's like, how do I make this valuable without giving everything away? And I think that's a fear of mine, is that you want so badly to win somebody over, to show that like, oh, I know what I'm talking about, right? But I think myself and a lot of other freelancers have run into an issue where people will just take that where they might normally like have to pay for something like it and then just run, so
yes,
striking that balance.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a common concern. And will it happen maybe once in a blue moon? But I think generally speaking, you want to be providing as much value as possible in those resources because of many different things. One thing is that whenever you work with somebody one-on-one, you're taking a very custom approach, which you're not doing in those resources that you're providing. That's a very general approach. So, they can take that and they can use it themselves, but it's not going to be the same as having you as the expert implementing that for them. The other piece here is I'm losing my train of thought. My apologies. But yeah. Oh, the other piece here that I was gonna say is that can be really helpful. And I think I mentioned this before, but that can also be really helpful for referral business. So once in a blue moon, you may have somebody that downloads your resource and fully implements it on their own and says, you know what, like I don't need to hire Kristen. But if they do that, they're probably going to see great success, and then they're going to be able to send more business your way. So they're going to say, you know, hey, like I know this awesome person, and you know, you should download their course because I did and I was able to implement and see huge success. Or you should work with them one-on-one because you have a bigger budget than me and you're able to do that and I wasn't, so I had to DIY it. So I just like to think of those as opportunities to position yourself as an expert and a thought leader. And I wouldn't worry too much about somebody taking that and running with it, because at the end of the day, you're the expert, they're not. And I think that you would be surprised at how many people get that, feel overwhelmed and need to hire you, or will use it, implement it, and then refer more people to you.
I mean, does anyone else have a follow-up question? If you do, you please feel free to share or jump on the chat. But Phil just texted me. He's like, "Hey, I got logged off. I hope it was just me." I'm gonna be like, "Just you, Phil!" Exclamation point. Oh well, sorry, Phil. Hopefully he'll jump back on. It's all recorded anyway. Yes. But my follow-up question was, I'll be specific. Like I was talking to somebody, and then she goes, "Oh, why don't you put together a proposal for me?" And I was like, okay, this is probably one of the first times that I'm putting a proposal together. And I kind of like tailored it to what she needed. So it was part proposal and part audit, because I had to already take a look at her socials and also what like everything else was looking like in comparison to competitors and things of that nature. And then I put it together, presented it to her, and then it was partially custom, right? Which maybe was my mistake. And then she was like, "Thank you." And then, you know, not a word. And part of me was like, did I do something wrong? Should I have charged a minimum for it just as a measure of my time is valued? But what do you think?
I think that's a perfect example of that low cost taste test at the middle of the funnel. I think you should be selling that audit. I sell an assessment in my business, and I charge for it, and I position it as, I tell people, this is a standalone deliverable. So when you get this, you can choose your next step. You know, you can take this and run with it by yourself, or you can take this and you can hire me to run with it. And so because it is a standalone valuable deliverable, like it costs money and you have to pay for it. So that's how I would position that moving forward.
That's good to know. That is
Kristen, just to jump in here, this may be an opportunity for you to sit down and think, do you want to start charging for consults? Because that's something I had to come up with about a year ago, that I'm like, nope, I'm going to start charging these people for them to get me on the phone. I'm not having these collaborative calls and then nothing comes of it. And it's actually benefited me. And you can start small with like, you know, an hourly rate and go from there. But it's important. And I mean, I think Jasz has reiterated this point throughout her, you know, presentation here, that it's important that, you know, you also need to demonstrate your own worth within yourself too. So yeah, I would say that situation in the future, that might be something like, yeah, I'm happy to jump on a call with you. However, if you need me for like half an hour, it's going to be like $30, or for an hour, it's going to be $50, and start small like that. And you'd be surprised. People will actually, pay to like just pick your brain.
Yeah, it was I went really in depth, and I often can't help myself, but I think I think I shot myself in the foot a little bit. You know, Jasz is like, yeah.
We live and we learn.
But the thing is you don't know until you go through that situation. I mean, people can tell, and that's the thing that I've had to learn this whole last 2 years is, you know, everybody can tell me, oh, you need to be charging. And it's like, but nobody wants to get on the phone with me if I'm charging. And then the 1 or 2 instances where people got on the phone with me and then nothing resulted from it, I'm like, they were right all along. Damn it.